So welcome to my confusion as I look at this big huge map. Well, I have a bigger printout of it, but this is a big bunch of stuff showing on the map. I have to make some decisions so that I can know where I'm going to build at. And this is really helpful. This one has the topographical lines. I did print this out black and white, but it was not as good because I know these places really well. And so I should have a thing to point with. No, I'm not going to use a key. It's just for me. Okay, so number one task is to take and divide a section of the south part of the land, which is over there. North is up here. See how north points that way? And that's actually really important because of the way the sun works. It's perfect orientation for the slope of the land, which generally slopes from up here to down here. It's really awesome the way it can work out. So one is that I have a public road down here. It's a road, dirt. It washes out sometimes if there's enough rain, but it's only going to improve because there's farmers down there that will, as their crops get to develop enough to harvest, their orchards and stuff, so they take years to develop, they'll keep improving the roads down there. I want to buy the land down here, this piece right here, which would be absolutely fantastic, and I should pretty much assume that that will occur. I should plan as if that's going to happen. Leaving open connecting areas from that to the upper part. Developing the land down there as I have up here will actually increase the amount of view in some spots. View is not everything, but it's nice when you can have it. So what this tells me is that I can improve access on the bottom spot, but that's not as important, the lower elevation, because if I get that land, I can improve access in other ways and do it in smarter ways. So I don't think that developing that is the priority. In fact, the priority, as I look at this, because I have so many big plans I want to do, is first, know where I would put larger buildings, because I really want to avoid sprawl. But I don't have the resources to make those buildings, but that's going to impact where I would bulldoze and also where I wouldn't want to put smaller buildings. So I know, looking at this, where I have my opportunities, and actually I can go on to Google My Maps and make a outline of blocks in a town, drag them up here, and then see how big those look up here, and that way I can get an idea for how a town-based block would look and the size of it, of what it would be up here. Now I would completely change how it would look. Like it would be 3 stories, not 1. There they retrofit everything. It's very annoying the way that the town develops there. It's just the nature of how zoning occurs, and towns evolve instead of being planned. So I have this opportunity to plan it correctly. I can see one big area here where a building would quite obviously go. That's a big area. And then another area down here where a building would go. Now those are beyond me. Another area down here where a building could go. I'm talking a big, like, multi-story, cool building so that people have density, and then they're surrounded by nature. None of that is visible from the public road because I don't want to create things visible from the public road until I have better infrastructure and security and stuff like that. So, okay, that's a solution. That tells me right there, those are the spots I could build bigger. Now, as long as I know where all the spots I would ever build bigger are, including ones I would build in here, I can start to put in smaller housing, which is the scale I have the ability to do. I have the team to do it. Like right now, I could call them up and they would say, we're busy now, but in 2-3 months we won't be. Let's schedule you. Let's take a look at the site. Let's start the planning. And I could set up for having students here and people being involved in building projects. It'd be really fun. I've got a huge spot in here right in the middle Yeah, it's pretty much in the middle, upper middle. And that's going to be my most accessible public-y spot. And even there, it's really hard for me to pick small spots to develop. I've got a spot right over there, which is near my house. I'm actually living in this house. I could develop that because initially I'm assuming the most people coming in will be relatively trusted, and I can build a central building that's close to everything else. That's a great spot. There is nothing else there of importance except an unfinished building. I've got another building which I need to retrofit, and so maybe that spot right there. I think that this is starting to sound really true. That's my first development spot. I might be already breaking my own rule though, and that is don't put your first things in your best spots. And being close to here is a high value location. But what am I going to do? Build like the first, and it isn't really the first one since I have experts doing it, not me. They don't fuck up much. They know what they're doing. I've seen them work. I visited a building site like 3 times a week where they were building a house, and I like how that house turned out. I would do some design things differently, but it was a great project. It was extremely well executed, and I would immediately plan for something different. I guess the problem with any decision you make in life is that there's opportunity cost, which is a good economics term if you're not familiar with it. Anything you do precludes doing something else. It's very annoying. The idea of hermit huts stays with me, of making small housing that fits into spots that I wouldn't ever do something else in. Even those are hard to pick out. The gatehouses make sense, I suppose, although those are useless unless I then am all in with having people inhabit them. But that would be really cool because as soon as there's stuff happening, I'm going to need gatehouses. And no, it's all confusing as fuck. Wow, that's a fucked up weird spot. This line's not even in the right place. I gave the guy the wrong line. It's all right. I know where it is. In some cases, I have to go out there with the physical GPS. I can count lines and stuff and all this, but the whole ravine got fucked up. It just the drone can't do it, and so I need to walk up and down each side of the ravine, just sitting there clicking elevation points, marking points, and this is not rocket science to do. It's walkable, more or less, and then I can draw lines between those that have the same elevation. And then I'm going to figure out where I'm going to cross the ravine at. Because I know I want to cross the ravine. The ravine's a massive blocking point. And I need to improve the existing crossing point anyway. I've got multiple ways to do that. There's one right. I could do this. That would actually work. I could have 2 one-way roads into this fucked up, difficult crossing point. And until I buy this other piece of land, once I buy this other piece of land, the ravine is actually shallower down there. I've walked down there multiple times. And so I could actually bulldoze through that and skip the need for a through road through all this stuff here and here. Although, I mean, connecting everything with roads is absolutely important anyway. If you can't get to the fucking spot, then it becomes irrelevant. I guess the first part of the plan is really to figure out where I would, if I had a bunch of funding for bulldozer stuff, where would I bulldoze? And these two building sites right here are probably one of the larger decisions to make. And that would help immediately, because even for like van camping, before I even put in a building, even if I, in my lifetime, am unable to put in a building, if I bulldoze those, I immediately have improvements to all the land around them. I can recover a road that grew over. I can build a road from there to there and there to there. I can get all kinds of access happening. God, this is so confusing. This is so helpful, though, this map. Okay, so if that's the case, then what I would do is make a list of every bulldozing project I could make, ever. Make in a spreadsheet several data points. One is, how difficult is it? Some of them being rated as might be dangerous and or impossible. Like I've got a slope here that's so steep that I need a bulldozer expert to come tell me if I can even bulldoze that. And even if I bulldozed a trail through there, it might just be a trail, not a road for actual cars or anything. And that could be done by hand. And it could also, there's smaller things you can use to dig with. Like I need machines to dig with in very difficult small spots. That would be very helpful, especially as I think about building huts. I have lots of spots I could build small buildings that I know I'm never going to put something else. Why is there a line right there? What line is that? Oh. No. What is that line? Huh. I have to walk over there. There shouldn't be anything right there. Yeah, okay, so on the spreadsheet of bulldozer options, I guess that is the next one. I then rank how much does it improve access, how much does it cost, is it impossible or difficulty level, because some of it's just, redoing a road that already existed anyway. And then, like in this case, I need a road right there. And so really, anything on the south side or mid-south is higher priority. And then, this is so confusing. I think I just want to go to town and buy some beer or something. Oh, this is a nice spot right there. See, if you're standing in that spot, it's actually hard to tell how nice that spot is. In fact, there's one spot really, I kind of knew that was there actually. And the new road, it's really cool to think about new roads and just follow along the exact topographical line, because I know I want level roads in general. This is a crazy case. Oh, this is so fucked up in there. I think it's all the trees. They fucked the lines up for the drone. But I mean, running one road right through there would open up this entire valuable spot to then even be able to think about better, to be able to even see it. And actually, oh shit, I could do that. Holy fuck. If I could get across the ravine right there, I have to walk in that ravine. I don't want to do it alone. It's just hazard after hazard in there. That would work though. Okay, this is getting brilliant. From here, straight over to there, with whatever dirt's available, however I have to do it, I could flatten below there. It's an amazingly cool spot. It's facing southeast, which is perfect orientation. And That would actually provide a road between two spots that do not connect at all right now. It would not hopefully destroy the cool place that's the most magical. In fact, I wouldn't do it if it did. But I'm pretty sure I can do it. This could work. There's more space in there than you really feel like is in there. It's really big. That would be astounding. And that's all, future. It doesn't have to happen anytime soon. But that's the thing is, not all of these things have to occur now. They just have to be planned now so I don't fuck up. Everything I think of could be a potential fuck up. Now, there is a big flat area in here, and that might be easier to think about because, like, let's say I figure out how to make a small building, okay, and I have a team that can do it. If I just said, okay, I want to have a place with a circle of 10 little buildings like this that have flexible use because they may not actually be for housing later. I got to build something somewhere. And it would be hard to fuck up building right around here. The thing is, I'm emotionally, it's really hard for me to see my own land because, like from an objective point of view, because I've spent, over 2 decades here, and I have plants. I think, oh, well, that tree is there, therefore I can do nothing with it. It's like, if it's better for the bigger plan, fuck that tree, Oh, that's really hard to say, but my lifetime is short, ultimately. And I want to design this space to be good in 600 years. Fuck. All right, so then the other question I have looking at this is, what's the elevation differences between certain spots? Like, they're trivial, really. No, they're not trivial. This one's important. This one's already figured out. So I think, I could make the list of top priority of top priority bulldozer projects now. And really, that's all I need to know. There are some where I can say, I know that's right. Although as soon as I think that, I'm like, maybe it's wrong. No, but at least recovering some certain places that I've lost. Like this is a no-brainer here. Okay. If I had a bulldozer tomorrow, what would I tell them to do? I would tell them to clear this area right here. It's already almost clear. There was a pine beetle plague, 2 years ago? They killed most of the trees there. And I have to have places that are clear. There is no way to make space for people without killing some trees. That's just how it is. And don't get on my ass about that, because wherever you live is not a fucking park. Unless it is, which is really rare. Cool. If that's the case, congratulations. The GPS elevation thing is really important because as I look at this, let's see, what is it? It's about It's 5 meters in there, so line's about that far part of 5 meters. I have forgot slope. Anyway, yeah, I would have that area bulldozed right away. There's nothing important in there, and it would all that dirt would get dumped across the road, and ultimately arriving to another spot. So it would both widen that. It would probably be like a wedge, but getting traffic flow over to this flat spot over here. That is a no fucking brainer. And that could be dug down to a lower level that would allow later buildings to be built with a basement there. Which would be overly dug down, and it would fill in on two sides of it areas to make more space. And also then connect, and then the connecting road to go up there would actually be critical, because that's going to work for privacy, access, all kinds of shit, and it keeps people from going through like right here. Shit. All right. Well. So that's the mental game I'm playing, is where would I have be bulldozed right now? And then I can't do that because I don't own that land. The problem is my mind is flitting between one puzzle and the other, which is annoying. I have to break these puzzles into pieces, but that's a big one. So my biggest issue that I could solve is make a flat spot and have it connect to the current entryway in a couple ways. That would do it. That would allow me to develop. No, because I still couldn't build right there. So I still have to have a bunch of small options for RV camping areas, which is easy to do. Lots of other shit. I could even evaluate a road out there, the public road, and then plan for another entry. And I think I should do that. And even a third entry eventually. I mean, I'm going to end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 7 entries just on the south side. And those would be planned, and the space would be reserved for them, but they would not be built. I don't need 7 fucking entries. But setting them aside makes the most sense, because I can't actually see the future. I say I can see the future. What I can do is take some really good guesses at the future and then not lock myself in. I think that's really important. That looks like a potential. Oh, that would work well. Holy shit. There's a line on there. I like how they have some that are darker than others. From the existing gate, this basically tells me I could do a road all the way around a certain area. And then that would also allow me to cross the ravine right there to a spot I already know about. That would be also a high priority one to do. And then I do have to find out how far apart are these lines. Oh, it says that. Okay, so the black ones are 5 meters. 5 meters is like 5 times 4 feet. So that's basically 5 meters is a width of the height of a building. And so you can imagine that every 5 meter line, let's see how that shakes out. If I had a slope that had 5 meter differences, that's a high ceiling. a very high, somewhat high ceiling. So really, this is not as that bad of a slope. What that tells me is anywhere where there's 2 5-meter lines that are far apart, that a building could go between those and be about the right size. That's super useful. And of course, I could shift that up or down. It doesn't matter. So the slope is not that bad in lots of spots, if you think of it that way. Well, there's that cool tree. You can see this one really magically cool tree right there. It's surrounded by its babies. And that shows how fucked up some of the slopes are too. How super steep they are. I mean, I'm better than the average person at reading a topo map, but it still is a skill, I think, and I'll get better at it. All right, well, geez. All right. I have too many things I need to do right now. It's overwhelming. I have huge problems that are blocking issues that are going to fuck my life up right now. And I'm trying to avoid them because it really is just overwhelming. See you later.